Okay, so I've been using my DrumBrute for about 3 years now, and I wasn't aware that it was defective. Let's go and fix it real quick. Alright, hey, what's up everyone? So this is Attila Hanak, and today we are gonna fix my defective DrumBrute, and a few caveats that go with that. So I purchased this DrumBrute, almost 4 years ago, and it's been working for me okay, or so I thought. And I don't even know how I got to it. I was just checking my account section on the Arturia website, and next to the section where the DrumBrute registration was, there was a little warning that update or repair or something like that is available. So I investigated, and as it turns out, my DrumBrute has been working at about 50% capacity. More specifically, quite a few sounds of it, the snare, the clap, the maracas, the tambourine. For me, this wasn't a gradual deterioration, if you will. This is how I was out of the box, as far as I can remember. As much as I love, the analog sound of the DrumBrute, I always thought that it needed some help with respect to EQing, compression, even a little bit of distortion. So that's the way I have set up my DrumBrute. I always put a lot of processing on it, and eventually then I could make it sound pretty good. And I do use it in quite a lot of my videos, quite a lot of songs and productions, and even stuff that I released. Anyway, so what Arturia decided to do is for the defective units, once it's been determined, and I'll show you how to figure out if your unit is in fact defective or not, they are actually going to send you a replacement board, the PCB, the one that's defective, with a bunch of instructions as to how to replace this. And they basically walk you through how to fix your own DrumBrute with this new analog board that they send you by mail. So I received mine, and hold on, where did I put it? Idiot. So I received mine a few days ago in the mail, and today we're gonna go ahead and swap it, and let's hope to the Arturia gods that it works just fine. So first of all, let me show you how you can determine if your DrumBrute is in fact defective. So I came upon this when I was just browsing the account section of my Arturia account, and I'm not gonna sign in, but if you search frequently asked questions, and if you follow the DrumBrute, then eventually it will get you to this page here where they talk all about the issue and how to troubleshoot it. So if you're experiencing this issue, don't worry, we're extending the warranty, and here it is. Not sure if your unit is affected, please go to my products page and make sure your DrumBrute is registered on your account, and then it will say assistance available. So that's what caught my attention. And then there's this cool little part on the bottom here where you can actually addition the properly working and defective sounds. So like I said, it's the snare, the clap, the maracas, the tambourine, and it's so true, because I noticed that especially the tambourine on my DrumBrute, I really had to give it some extra gain, crank it up as loud as I could just to be able to hear it. So let's listen to these sounds first. The clap, the defective clap sound. And now I'm gonna swap it to the sound that is supposed to be like. I mean, it's not hard to tell that that's a profound difference. Let's try the maracas, again, the defective sound. I can't hear shit. And then let's toggle it to the proper sound. Yes, that again is a profound difference. Let's listen to the snare, and this is what opened my eyes. And then swap it to the proper sound. And then last but not least, the tambourine. Oh, did they misspell tambourine? Yeah, they definitely misspelled tambourine. And now let's listen to the normal sound. Yeah, and I do recognize all four of those sounds being in the defective area with my DrumBrute. And again, that's what I've been used to. That's how I've been using it. So as for my DrumBrute, I just created this simple house pattern here that we can listen to. So this is obviously before the fix, before swapping the analog board. Let's listen to it. So I'm using this groove to run the DrumBrute from Ableton, and this is just the way how it's set up in my studio. And if you want to learn how to set this up properly, how to run your DrumBrute or any analog gear for that matter from Ableton, then I recommend that you check out my Analog Meets Digital Production Music Live Masterclass. A couple of more things that you need to know about about my Arturia setup here. I'm actually utilizing all the individual outputs of the DrumBrute, and they are being sent to a patch bay over here. So let me show you this from a bit closer. So all these outputs on this patch bay correspond to the DrumBrute's individual outputs, and the reason I did that is because I want to be able to affect each and every sound of the Arturia DrumBrute on an individual basis, and then from there on all these audio tracks end up in the Soundcraft Signature 22 multi-track mixer, where I can apply some EQ and mix them properly and then use panning. And then from there they go back to the patch bay, where I can by virtue of using the patch bay, put them through some outboard effects such as this compressor or even this preamp, so I can put some dirt on it. Okay, so that's how the DrumBrute is set up in my studio, and if you would like to know more about all this setup, how I'm running everything through the patch bays and the mixer and outboard effects and whatnot, then Production Music Live and I are actually working on a masterclass about the building of this entire studio. What's up, buddy? What, you wanna be in the video? Say hi. This is Blue, my studio attendant. Okay, so can I keep working now? And everything else that I put together in the studio. So if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely stay tuned and watch out for announcements. Okay, so because the DrumBrute is set up this way, obviously I'm gonna have a little bit of extracurricular things to do, such as labeling output connections and whatnot. So let's go and do that. I'm gonna grab this camera over here right now, and we're gonna go behind the DrumBrute. Okay, so as you can see, all the individual outputs of the DrumBrute are being utilized, and they are being sent to the patch bays, just like I showed you before. So now I'm gonna go ahead and label all these cables, just so I know which one goes where when I'm putting everything back together. And I've already prepared the labels, so kick 1, kick 2, snare, clap, and hats, and so on and so forth. Well, first of all, I'm gonna turn off the DrumBrute. Okay, so everything is labeled, even the MIDI cable that goes to the DrumBrute. Okay, here we go, one Arturia DrumBrute. Let's get into fixing this thing, and since we no longer need the Ableton screen, I'm just gonna swap it to the actual PDF file that Arturia sent about the step-by-step instructions on how to fix the analog board. So obviously there are gonna be some tools needed. From what I understand, a Phillips head screwdriver, and the other tool that I'm gonna be needing is something to pop the knobs off, because they're pretty hard to pull off by hand. Yeah, so you're definitely gonna need something to pop those up. I'm just using a simple flat screwdriver, and I put a little bit of masking tape at the end just so I don't damage the paint, and that way I can get the knobs off fairly easily. And a couple of boxes just to put stuff in there so that they don't roll off the table and get lost, which is usually a good thing to do. And last but not least, just to keep everything safe, I'm gonna use a simple acoustic panel just to keep the surface soft, and again to make sure I don't break anything on my beloved DrumBrute. Okay, so read through the disclaimers. Obviously you shouldn't do this procedure unless Arturia signs off on it, otherwise your warranty will be void and whatnot. And obviously you're gonna need the analog board that they send, unless you're amazingly smart enough to create one of these, which I'm definitely not. Okay, so be sure to work on a flat, clean and soft surface. That's done. Remove the 37 knob caps highlighted in red from your DrumBrute. So basically everything on this lower half of the DrumBrute. So I'm gonna do that, and again, I made this quick tool to do that, and it's very simple. You just get under and pop them right off. So if I just go under and twist it, it seems to be working pretty well. And without damaging the actual casing of the DrumBrute. I'm not going in any particular order, just whatever feels right. And of course I'm trying to do this fast because I don't want to fool around with this all day. Okay, so 37 knobs removed. Flip over the device and remove the 11 red marked screws with a screwdriver, preferably a PH0 type. Basically all of the screws on the bottom, and again I'm sure this is gonna take a little bit of time. And then it does say to make sure to have the unit elevated to avoid damaging the potentiometers. And that's why I'm using the acoustic foam panel. I suppose you can also use a pillow. Okay, gently lift up the bottom panel, done. Unplug the flexible flat cables and the ribbon cable following the instructions below. So I'm gonna be unplugging these ribbon cables. So remove the 4 orange marked flexible cables by pulling them up gently as shown below. Pinch them at the base with your 2 hands and gently pull them up at once. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that wasn't so hard. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Gently pull up the yellow marked ribbon cable using your hands or a pair of thin plastic tools as shown below. Okay, so this guy here. So 1 and 2, so that was good. Moving on, remove the 2 red marked flexible flat cables using your hands or a pair of spudgers. Spudgers, bro. Bro, you have any spudgers, bro? Okay, so the little gray pins need to be pop back. Okay. One, 2. Oh, and then it just slides out. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all removed. Unscrew the 16 red mark screws and their plastic ankles using a screwdriver. And that would be basically all these screws here. And the same screwdriver will work for these. So some of the screws that are in there pretty tight, I'm applying some downward pressure too, just in order, because these are so tiny and so finicky, and I want to make sure I don't strip the screw head itself. So a little bit of downward pressure. I mean, don't put your screwdriver through it, obviously. Okay, pull out the analog board of the unit. Make sure to leave the silicone pads, buttons and carbon films in place. Okay, it's out. So all these plastic things, little LED covers and whatnot, are supposed to stay in there. Okay, warning, the transparent plastic caps highlighted in red below may fall during the disassembly or reassembly. Yeah, so I think we went through that, but I'm just gonna check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have all of those, so that's all good. Reassembling the unit with the new analog board. Put the new analog board back in position. Let's take our new analog board. And again, this is what Arturia sent as a replacement part. Make sure the silicone pads, buttons and carbon films are not being moved and stay in their initial position when putting the analog board back in the chassis. All right, here goes nothing. I'm gonna try and slide it in under those cables. You see, I'm always very scared to work with electronics because I simply don't know how much pressure I'm allowed to apply or not apply, and something definitely doesn't feel right in there. Something feels like it's not where it's supposed to be. Let's see if I lift it up. Oh, okay. Okay, so that feeling was the actual foam pad pressing back up against the potentiometers. So I guess that's fine, and I'm gonna put my faith in it that this is in fact fine. By the way, one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because I don't know f*** all about electronics and how to build these things. I'm an absolute noob. I don't know how to solder. I don't know how to do this stuff. So I'm not an electrician. I'm not someone who can do this easily, and I've never done it before. And maybe this will serve as a good example, even if you think you cannot do this, or if it's something that you think is too extensive and just beyond your pay grade. I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it too. And that was the motivational speech from yours truly, Attila. It says, screw the 60 screws with their plastic angles back in the red mark spots with a screwdriver. Do not use an electronic screwdriver. Okay, so this may take a little while. Man, it's amazing how much work goes into building one of these things. To put it together properly and make sure it works and then mass produce it, I mean, that's not a small feat. So next time when you're bitching about synths being expensive, this would be a good point to refer back to, unless of course you're a Behringer fan, which, well, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, that's all in. Okay, so the yellow mark flexible flat cables need to be plugged back by pinching them at the base with your two hands and gently pull them down at once. I'm really scared to put a lot of pressure on these things because, you know, I've never built this before and I don't know what's gonna break it. Okay, well, that was quite a lot of pressure, so hopefully I didn't break anything. Okay, looks good, looks good, looks good, and looks good. And again, be mindful of the difference between good and bad. Let's go back to the little ones. Two red mark flexible flat cables need to be plugged back by using your hands or a pair of spudgers, again, as shown below. I'm just gonna use my hand. So place it on the little gray part, make sure it's in all the way, and then both of these ears have to go back at the same time. Okay, so that would be that. I think that's it. Okay, so this is, I'm just gonna double check in there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and that's also in there. All screws are back. Okay, I think we're getting there. What I will do is have a quick look at the front of the unit to make sure nothing has fallen, to make sure that the switches feel okay. And they do. And now let's put these guys back. Okay, so that's that. Flip it over and then put the knobs back. All done. Okay, let's put it back together. And now it's just a matter of reconnecting all the individual audio outs, the MIDI and the power itself, and then we're gonna test it. Now let's try to reset everything to where it was more or less from what I remember. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the sounds one by one, and because the way this whole thing is set up, I can play them on my keyboard here, or we can just use the MIDI editor. So C1 is kick drum. So that's a snare, and yes, that is a proper snare now. It sounds a hell of a lot more powerful and a lot more bright than before the fix. This is our clap. Oh yeah, huge difference. Let's see. And the tambourine, maracas. Yeah, I can hear all of them perfectly. Freaking amazing. Okay, so it worked. That's awesome. And now because of that, obviously I have to remix everything because awesome, brand new DrumBrute, freaking amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna go and make a song with this. All right guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I managed to show you that if I can do this, then you can certainly do it. So if your DrumBrute is defective, then feel free to reach out to Arturia. By the way, this video is not sponsored by any means, way, shape or form by Arturia at all. I just decided to make it just to show you guys that it's actually doable and what a profound difference it makes. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a lot. If you did like this video, then give me a thumbs up, and feel free to hit that follow and the little bell icon to make sure that you don't miss anything for future videos. And as always, don't go too far because the next video is just right around the corner. I'll see you there soon.